Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let's dive into the highlights of the NBA Conference 2025 happening in Enugu. But before we dive in, a quick one for Nigerians. Hmm. If you want to go and look for trouble, don't do it. Avoid wahala at all costs this period. You know why? Because all lawyers are in Enugu, learning and having fun. Avoid wahala at all costs. You get why? In fact, someone cracked a joke that if you're not in the city of Enugu for this conference and you're a lawyer, hmm, probably you're a land agent. No, with me talk more. This year's gathering brings together brilliant minds, powerful discussions, and moments that will shape the future. Let's take a look.
have attracted investors by building trust through a secure, transparent, and partnership-oriented environment. The airline many of you flew in on didn't exist last month. None of this would have been possible without security. From the outset, we built a tech-driven, intelligence-led security architecture anchored in our command and control center, with round-the-clock AI surveillance across our neighborhoods, integrated response units, and community partnership. Enugu has recorded an over 80% reduction in violent crime. We committed over 33% of our budget to education. We constructed 260 Type 2 primary healthcare centers, each equipped with staff quarters, offering 24-hour service. Since then, we have reduced the maternal mortality rate by over 400%.
If you speak the truth, you will die. If you lie, you will die. So I've chosen to speak the truth and die peacefully. I want to start by saying that I am personally particularly impressed with the governor of Enugu State. Because if all this is done in 2 years, we would have been very grateful in Kogi State if the boys' quarters of this building, this one outside there, is constructed in my state. I would have been appreciated my governor. So with what we have seen, honestly speaking, I was in a place yesterday called the Cultural Center, and I appreciated that because it's thinking out of the box. Why I am particularly impressed this afternoon is Your Excellency's recruitment process in appointing your political appointees. The intellectual sagacity displayed by your Attorney General and the elegantly attired lady, honestly speaking, gives me hope that if other governors, and even at the national level, we work on recruitment process, because I've interacted with some attorney generals in some states. This means there's no nepotism. You are not giving carpentry job to pillars, and maybe it's the reason behind the successes we are seeing. So please, Your Excellency, maybe you tell your colleagues in the Nigerian Governors Forum, organize a retreat and teach them how to recruit how to recruit appointees. Square pegs in square holes, because that is one of our fundamental problems in our state and even at the national level. In the history of this country at the time, a lawyer was the group MD of an NPC. You cannot give carpentry job to tailors. But from their presentation this morning, it shows that your recruitment process is So I encourage those who are discouraged to continue to encourage you, because honestly speaking, I believe that democracy
Good afternoon, everyone. First, let me appreciate His Excellence for making our time to join us here today, and also the Executive Governor of Enugu State and leaders in the profession. All protocols duly observed. My job here today is very simple and also very hard at the same time. Simple because I've been starting the responsibility of introducing a man, a Pan-Africanist, a true son of Africa, that I can resonate with. I resonate with his ideology. But very difficult at the same time because I've been given less than 2 minutes to make such an introduction. So indeed, it is a Herculean task. Here before us today at the annual general conference is a man, a true son of Africa, a Pan-Africanist, a shining light of resistance, whose exploits are promoting transparency, constitutionalism, accountability and rule of law are too numerous to mention. He continues to fight against inequality, corruption, oppression in South Africa. His loud voice of reason continues to echo across the continent. He continually agitates for South Africans to see Africans as their brothers and not their enemies. He is a powerful voice, not only in South Africa, but on the continent and globally. Julius Malema is our keynote speaker for the annual conference, and he brings his wealth of experience as a resistance and a movement leader in South Africa. He was the former president of the ANC Youth League, and he's the current president of the Economic Freedom Fighters in South Africa, a movement and a political party that resists oppression and corruption and continues to challenge unconstitutionalism in South Africa.
Compatriots, I must reiterate once again that it is a deep honor to stand before you today in Nigeria, in Enugu State, a country that holds a special place in the hearts of all South Africans who understand history, who value solidarity, who appreciate the sacrifice made by others in the cause of our freedom. Nigeria is not just another African country to us. It is a comrade nation, one that stood firmly by our side during our darkest hour. When South Africa was shackled by apartheid, when our people were murdered, imprisoned, and denied basic humanity, Nigeria rose as a giant for justice, placing South Africa squarely at the center of its foreign policy. Former President Murtala Mohammed famously declared that Africa had come of age, that the continent will no longer tolerate interference from outside powers, and this still rings true today. Nigeria set up the Southern African Relief Fund, mobilizing its citizens to contribute to the liberation struggle. Even as it faced its own challenges at home, these initiatives raised millions of dollars to support the liberation of South Africa. People paid directly from their salaries to contribute to the liberation of the people of South Africa.
Seconds. All right. I am glad you guys are here to listen to me. And maybe you won't invite me again after I'm done. You represent the heartbeat of professionalism in our country, in any society. I think it's important that we don't laugh through the conditions that we find ourselves as a people. You're the best of minds. Anyone who is able to train and become a lawyer in Nigeria represents the elite of our society. What's going on is an abandonment of responsibility by the elite of our country. The truth is, the people of this country, the larger population of the poor, are almost trapped in intractable poverty. Some 133 million are perniciously in that state of poverty. One thing that is fundamental are the choices that we make as the people. And guess what? The lawyers determining the rule of law of this society and what is rewarded, what is punished, at the heart of it. The question that I hope your conference this year would force each of you to ask is, should there be an evaluation of what our profession has done to provide the necessary guardrails for the behavior of our political class? It's not to be that we, as the privileged class, for as long as you're educated, you're a privileged class, we need to understand that this society lays prostrate for the poor right now, some 133 million of them, that a distorted incentive society is making it impossible for them to actually have a quality of life that is close enough to just being normal. And therefore, I am praying that as the legal profession, you can agree that there is serious discussions that are making it difficult for incentives to align in the direction where hard work is rewarded. This country has to go back to rewarding hard work. This idea that politics is the pathway to becoming wealthy is an anomaly. Any profession that is rewarding this kind of prebendalist behavior cannot be a profession that cares about tomorrow. But I do know that I know some of you, and you're some of the best minds that we have in this society. So, stop trading this profession. Stop giving this profession over to a bunch of lousy politicians that want to destroy generations here and unborn. Don't invite me again. Even if you invite me, I may not come again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, the final, just hold on. The best.
That wraps up our look at the NBA Conference 2025 in Enugu. Of course, it's still ongoing, not done. I think they'll be finishing 30th or 31st of August, of course, this month. Truly an event filled with inspiration, connection, and vision. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Until next time, bye.